The bagpipes. You either love them or hate them. People often think of them as Scottish, but in fact all Celtic people have played bagpipes at funerals, wakes, weddings and dances for centuries. Bagpipes sometimes get a bad reputation because they are often out of tune, but get them right and you will leave your audience with an experience that will have them spellbound.
Hi there, I'm James and welcome to the official Baggypipes YouTube channel. What does baggy mean? It means trendy, it means loose. It's a British dance-oriented music genre. It's the nickname for West Bromwich Albion. In fact, according to Urban Dictionary, it can literally mean anything and people will understand what you mean by it. But before I begin, I'd like to tell you a bit about who I am and how I started this channel. I've been playing the bagpipes for over 20 years. My grandparents were from Scotland and moved down to London in the 1950s. My uncle learned the accordion as a teenager and formed a Scottish dance ceilidh band with my dad on the drums and aunt on the piano. Every summer in the 1980s they held open-air dances in the heart of London's financial district. One of those buildings was propped on stilts, which provided a convenient shelter for the band in the rain, and the people in the offices above used to dangle an electricity cable out the window, which came in pretty handy for the power supply.
Well, today the square looks very different, apart from a few features that still remain, like this statue of the bronze Paternoster. It was designed by Dame Elizabeth Frink for the previous square complex in 1975, and I used to play on this statue as a child because I was too young to enjoy the dancing. But when the interval acts came, they used to lay on some Highland broadsword dancers, and that's where my interest in the bagpipes really started. The dancers would march onto the square and perform the famous sword dance. Accompanied by live bagpipes, they were noisy, but boy did they add to the atmosphere, and I was instantly hooked. Paternoster Square wasn't the only place in London where you could hear live bagpipes. I'm standing outside what is left of the Delphi Terrace in London. Just like centuries past, it was popular for the rich and famous to own a property by the Thames. Now, as it happened, many of the builders who worked on this project were also from Scotland, and when the Adelphi building was being constructed between 1768 and 1762, there were no radios for the builders to listen to, so instead the Adams brothers hired a group of bagpipers to keep the workers entertained. And who could forget the Lord Mayor's Show? Held each November, this event is never complete without bagpipes. I've participated a few times, but it's a long trek.
We have always been a musical family, but never had a bagpiper, so I decided that that's what I should do. When I told my mum about my plans, she said, "You'll never have an empty beer glass if you can play the pipes." So that was it, a no-brainer then. I took some private tuition to get me started, and later joined an evening class. Several of us eventually got to a reasonable standard and formed a band. This clip is from one of our first performances at the Seacombe Theatre in Sutton.
These days I do jobs all over London, so if you spot me on my travels, do say hello. In these forthcoming videos we're going to be looking at the bagpipes in detail, their history, how they are made, how to play them, and above all answering your questions. So if you have any, leave them in the comments section and I'll do my very best to answer them for you. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, and if you're a troll, remember to spell correctly. Thanks for watching and I'll see you very soon in the next video.